Last finishing touches. Family's gonna be here in about 15 minutes.
There's a lot to do.
This rain is barreling down on us, isn't it?
It is. Oh my. These are absolute tears of joy.
Welcome to Flip My Florida Yard. Well, we all know how important our essential workers are. Well, today's show is a chance to say thank you. Meet Larney and Galen, both nurses in Gainesville.
Hi, we're the De La Salas family. Hi!
Their conflicting schedules allow for very little time to spend together and even less time to spend on their yard. Our task is to create a Florida-friendly sanctuary for the family to relax and reconnect. Local landscape experts dream up the ultimate outdoor oasis.
Their backyard is going to be a beautiful backyard when we're done.
Beautiful pathways will transform the yard. We'll look at ways to attract birds.
If you have a landscape that provides food, shelter, and water, it's going to attract the wildlife into this landscape.
We'll save water by retrofitting an existing irrigation system.
It can be run from your smartphone app.
We'll also take a closer look at what's in the water coming off our yards and how it affects local waterways.
It may have elevated levels of the nutrients, like from the fertilizer.
And of course, all the drama.
I don't know what I got myself into.
Homeowners are on their way. Oh yeah, and it's raining. All this and more on Flip My Florida Yard.
Flip My Florida Yard is sponsored by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection.
We're knocking on doors
So excited.
and flipping yards into beautiful Florida-friendly landscapes, and all in 8 hours.
Is this really happening?
Who's ready?
Organized chaos.
Experts show us how to use Florida-friendly landscaping principles.
Putting the right plant in the right place.
Water efficiently. Very low maintenance.
Fertilize appropriately.
All leading up to a dramatic reveal.
The best surprise of our whole life.
All right, we're in Gainesville, home of the Gators, and we're here to flip a yard. You guys ready? Yeah! All right, let's do it. Let's go get the De La Salas family. De La Salas family?
Yes.
Come on out here.
Hello.
Hello. Well, today's the day. Today's your flip day.
My name is Larney, and this is my husband, Galen.
This is my daughter, Tess, and she's 7, and my other daughter, Isla, who's 2. My wife and I, we're both nurses. Our schedules mirror each other, so if one of us is off, the other one's working.
It's hard to dedicate your days off, which is rare, to take care of this pretty big yard that we have in the back.
Weed whacking is endless every week. Just mowing, blowing the leaves off. Takes a lot of effort and work, especially with our 2 kids.
I woke up in the morning, I took a peek outside, and I just closed the blind so I didn't have to see it anymore. I love watching shows like Flip My Florida Yard, and it's always a dream just to have someone help us envision what it could be like, a dream backyard for us. We're hopeful in our backyard to have a lot of wildlife, butterflies, and various birds. Our older daughter, Tess, loves birds. We'd love this yard to be just an example for our children of how we can conserve our water. We really just want a place to be together and to be outside.
Are you nervous?
Yes, we are, but we're excited.
Well, you're in good hands. We have a team of professionals here today who are going to turn your backyard into a beautiful Florida-friendly landscape.
Can't wait.
You guys ready to meet your flip crew?
Yes.
Right, this is your flip crew. These are the men and women who are going to turn your backyard upside down. But they're going to put it back together.
Okay.
And I think you're going to like what you see. But we got to get you out of here first, okay? You guys ready to go?
We're ready.
All right, follow me. Let's do it. Have a good time, and I will see you in 8 hours, okay?
Okay, we'll see you again.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, guys, gather around, gather around. All right, the De La Salas family just left. You know what that means? We have 8 hours to turn this backyard into a Florida-friendly landscape. Who's ready? Yeah. You guys ready? Yeah. Tammy, how you feeling?
Time's ticking. We gotta get moving.
Go! Go, 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 go! Oh, here we go. Okay, we're 15 minutes in, and already it's pandemonium. This is that part of the flip that's very dusty, very loud, and very destructive. Here's the team's goal, is removing about 30 to 40% of the sod. And the De La Salas family's backyard. So right now, we're cutting up the sod, we're getting it on the dozer, and we're getting it out of the backyard. Wow. So what they're doing right now, we're putting in a paver patio. They're cutting that concrete. That concrete will get broken up.
The De Las Alas family wants their backyard to be a Florida-friendly landscape. We turn to Tammy Waite of Skyfrog Landscape. She's our flip designer and has created a plan to make their dreams come true.
I know you spoke with the homeowners. Let's go over some of the key features of this plan here.
Sure. Some of the things that they wanted was an area for the girls to still play in. So we left a lot of grass in the center of the yard.
Okay.
They also wanted to create a habitat for birds to live in and also plants for pollinator insects like butterflies and that sort of thing.
One of the principles of Florida-friendly landscaping is attracting wildlife, and Tammy's design will do just that. She'll remove 35% of the sod and replace it with plants known to attract hummingbirds and a variety of pollinators.
When I first saw Tammy's design, I was really impressed.
Helping out today is the local extension agent for Alachua County, Taylor Clem. He's an expert on Florida-friendly landscape.
A Florida-friendly landscape can become any landscape that you want. It can be as colorful as you want. You can have the plants that you want as long as it's following those right plant, right place guidelines.
So really, you've made space for all these plants because before, what was this yard?
Just a few little plants here and there along the fence line, but other than that, it was just grass.
So I noticed we took out quite a bit of sod. What are we replacing that sod with?
We're going to be putting a lot of Florida-friendly plants on the ground. These plants are drought-tolerant, hardy to this area, they're low maintenance.
So I know another design feature which I love, you have these really beautiful pathways through the yard.
So we're going to put 3 pathways in here for her. The first one is going to be a flagstone pathway that runs up to their existing shed.
Okay.
The second pathway will lead to their front yard. And then the third pathway will lead up to the girls' little play area. 2 of the pathways will be made out of flagstone and pea gravel. The third pathway will be concrete stepping stones.
You know, it's one thing just to kind of stand and look at it, but to be able to kind of walk through it, it almost feels like kind of like a nature trail.
It is, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what's your biggest concern today?
The weather. I'm hoping it doesn't rain.
So you think it's going to rain today?
It's about 50% chance. You never know in Florida.
What? You know, every year the Department of Environmental Protection samples thousands of water bodies all throughout our state with the goal of ensuring they're safe for all Florida residents.
We're basically water quality biologists and chemists by trade. So we are collecting water samples and then sometimes biological samples to analyze to determine whether or not our surface waters and groundwaters of the state are healthy and clean. The population of Florida, as it continues to increase, and each of us with our own personal pollution being added to the landscape, it's a constant battle to try to maintain that good water quality. When we go out to sample, we usually have some idea of why we're sampling that particular water body. It may be that water body is already considered impaired, meaning it's not meeting all of our water quality criteria. And so we would pack a kit for samples that would help us to look specifically for those chemicals to see are they or are they not at a level that is healthy for that water body? And if we're seeing a water body that is starting to degrade slowly because of pollution, we're able to detect that early. And before it actually becomes impaired, before it is actually a polluted water body, we can start changing habits and behaviors in the surrounding watershed so that we can reduce the amount of pollutants entering that water body. Say your property adjoins a water body, you can actually let some natural vegetation grow along the edge of the water to help slow down that runoff and absorb those excess nutrients coming off of the lawn. It's everyone's responsibility to be good stewards of their property, and you probably have heard the saying, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to protect the water body. And it's everyone's role to protect our natural resources.
Okay, let's get back to the flip. The De Las Alas family's irrigation system is getting a major makeover. Jason Lee from Skyfrog Landscape is installing several water-efficient upgrades to their existing system.
Irrigation time.
Yes, sir.
So I see a lot of tubing going on here. What are you doing to the backyard here?
We are currently converting their irrigation system that was present into a much more water-saving system. We are replacing our standard rotor irrigation head with an MP rotator nozzle that just fits on directly onto a standard spray head body. That's a water-efficient nozzle.
So how do you get it in there?
So we just screw off the clean-out nozzle.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Screw it on. Easy.
So any homeowner can at least upgrade their existing sprinkler heads with this MP rotator.
Yes, sir.
So this waters the turf. How are we going to water the flower beds?
We're going to water all of the flower beds with drip tube irrigation. So this was all existing turf grass.
Okay.
And this is all now going to be converted to flower bed. We'll make this connection into the old irrigation head, and then this drip tubing has an emitter.
Okay.
That's spaced out at every 12 inches and puts out 0.9 gallons per hour.
This is putting the water right where it needs to be.
Yep, right to the roots, right to the dirt.
And the mulch goes on top of this, right?
Yes, it does.
We're in Gainesville, home of the University of Florida. And with this 8-hour flip, our crew has bitten off almost more than they can handle.
This size project would be probably a 2 to 3 day long project, and we're doing it in a day.
How you feeling?
I'm stressed right now.
While the crew was working in overdrive, the De Las Alas family is enjoying a relaxing day at Payne's Prairie Preserve State Park. Yay! Established in 1971, this park is Florida's first state preserve and is now designated as a National Natural Landmark.
Let's get a little update on where we are in the yard. Look at these. Look at what I'm standing on. These beautiful pieces of flagstone. This is going to be a really nice path. It's going to kind of wind its way to the yard. Major, major design feature here.
Another design feature will be to use plants and trees to soften the fence line to create a tiered look.
You don't see a harsh fence anymore. You're going to see pretty plant material that's along the fence line, and it makes the look a lot softer.
Our drip irrigation is all laid out here, just waiting on some mulch. I mean, between how we're going to water the turf and all the drip tubing here, I mean, this is going to save quite a bit of water, right?
It will.
Drip irrigation is a low-tech method of irrigating efficiently, but this next device being installed is a bit more high-tech.
It's a smart controller. It has a predictive weather pattern system that connects to local weather stations at airports. It can be run from your smartphone app. You can program it if you're on vacation, out of town, at work. This new smart controller is going to save water by stopping the irrigation from running after rain events. So it might decrease 2 to 3 irrigation occurrences a month. So if you save thousands of gallons of water, it's good for the environment and your pocketbook.
Larney and Galen's daughters, Tess and Isla, love watching birds. And so a place to observe wildlife was high on their wish list.
Our older daughter, Tess, loves birds, and she loves cardinals, anything very colorful.
So this is our little bird attracting area. We have our water, we have some shelter, the tree there, and then we have some food.
As well as this red bud, it's going to create a great habitat for them to perch in. So having food source, that gives them an opportunity to stop and feed. And then water, of course.
And what's the value of attracting all this wildlife?
So a lot of it is just, you know, auxiliary beauty, or the value that you get from having that enjoyment in the landscape, that impact that you have of seeing that connection that you're creating with the habitat. Tomorrow or this evening, if they're out here and once it's quiet, they're going to start seeing that wildlife start to flock in here.
Well, they're going to love this. I know their two daughters love watching birds, and that connects them to their yard. It connects them to nature right there, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
The new flower beds that line the backyard fence will also be home to trees that specifically attract wildlife, like hummingbirds and butterflies. Jim Fleming from Tropic Traditions gives us some do's and don'ts when planting a tree.
So Jim, look at this root ball. That is a pretty massive root ball.
Nice root ball on this plant. It's advisable on a containerized plant when you're planting it in the ground to go ahead and cut the circling roots. Just give them a little cut.
Okay. So what are you doing when you do that?
You're gonna create fibrous roots from the root mass.
Okay.
And you're gonna discourage the circling roots, which is not good for the plant. You're basically root pruning the plant.
So when you prune something, you encourage growth. So
that's right.
Same thing with leaves, same thing with roots.
That's right.
Okay. So we got our hole pre-dug here.
Okay, now, when you plant the containerized tree, you want to have, or any tree, you want to have the ground level at the same as the ground level.
Okay.
You don't want any dirt up on the trunk or the root flare. The root flare has to show so the top of the root system can breathe. And then you can just create your tree well so that when the rainwater comes, it puddles up in the middle. You want to hose water to get all the air pockets out after planting.
An investment. This tree is going to provide a lot of enjoyment.
Oh, yeah.
For how many years?
20, 30,
20, 30 years.
Yeah.
With the clock ticking on this flip, the crew continues to plant, mulch, and lay down very sizable and very heavy flagstone pavers that will line the backyard.
The family's gonna be here in about 15 minutes. We have the storm barreling down on us. I hope we're gonna make it.
I hope so too.
We're in Gainesville, Florida, flipping the De Las Alas family's backyard while they're enjoying a relaxing day at a state park. The crew is racing against the weather.
This rain is barreling down on us, isn't it?
It is, it is. When we first started, we were on track, everything was moving well. It's 3 o'clock. We still have plants to put in the ground. We still have mulch to put on the ground.
Today's flip consisted of over 200 plants and trees, 1,500 pounds of mulch, and over 3 tons of pavers. That's a lot to put in place in one day.
This is how you get a whole lot of mulch in the backyard real fast.
The crew is putting in plants that can thrive in this Central Florida environment. But picking the right plant is just as important as picking the right place.
Right plant, right place. I mean, what does that really mean?
Right plant, right place is one of the principles of the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program. We think about those environmental conditions of our yard, and we select the plants that naturally thrive in those environmental conditions.
And I think a lot of people have that experience of buying something that looks gorgeous, and then they stick it in the ground, and it just dies.
And we can put a plant in a landscape, but it's like on plant life support the entire time it's there. So by just taking that little extra time, and you can look at that tab that comes on your plants, or reach out to your county extension office, you can select those plants that do best in your landscape, and it really makes for a better, well-rounded, low-maintenance yard.
When you talk about a native plant, is there any more of an iconic plant in Florida than this one?
And this is the native Coontie, but this is a tough-as-nails plant. It's drought-tolerant. It really likes the well-drained soils, full sun. It's very adaptable to a lot of landscapes all throughout the state.
So what do we have over here, Taylor?
This is a non-native plant, but it's called the bulbine frutescens, and it creates these beautiful orange-yellow flowers that bloom almost year-round. So you're gonna see pollinators attracted to this, and it adds a really nice soft texture to any landscape.
Where do people start on this Florida-friendly journey?
Reach out to your county extension office. Your county extension office has all the resources you need to help get you going. We have education programs as well as those resources and materials that we can give out to the community to help them start to convert their yard to a Florida-friendly landscape.
With the crew closing in on finishing the flip and the family closing in on the house, the weather finally closes in on us.
Homeowners are on their way? Oh yeah, and it's raining. Great.
When it finally stops, the finishing pieces are put in place, including a sandbox I made for the girls.
Mom can sit right there on that bench and watch her kids play here and watch her incredible Florida-friendly yards.
I am very excited for the homeowners to see what we've done to their backyard. I just know that they're gonna love it.
They're here. Hey guys. Hey Chad. So did you guys have a good time?
We did.
Okay, good. So we're gonna put some glasses on you, and then we're gonna show you what we've been up to all day. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Okay. Okay, behind this door is an incredible Florida-friendly landscape. I'm so excited and proud to show you this yard. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps.
Oh, we are too.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Remove your glasses.
Oh my. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much. I didn't think I was gonna cry, but wow, it's amazing.
Before, the backyard was an eyesore for Larney and Galen and a constant source of work. Now, this beautiful oasis is full of Florida-friendly plants, a defined fun place for the girls to play outside, beautiful flagstone pathways to enjoy their yard, and the new plants will quickly establish and fill the backyard with color and life.
You okay?
I'm more than okay. These are absolute tears of joy. It's so beautiful.
Between the foliage and the flowers, this is gonna be a beautiful, colorful, Florida-friendly landscape for this family.
It's your new sandbox. This gives us so many more options to be able to live life and live life healthy.
It was like a fairy tale. It's beautiful. Nothing like I would have ever imagined. I would never have thought our backyard could look like this.
We're now recognized as a Florida-friendly landscape test.
Them being essential workers, they're out there right on the line doing all kinds of good stuff for us, and it just feels good to be able to give back to them.
Just look, I didn't even see this at first. It's a new patio.
The pavers were absolutely one of the first things that we noticed.
And the new bird feeder.
So many things. Like a wonderland.
These are the men and women who did this for you today.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Above above and beyond.
Thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Our hope is that people watch this show and they want a Florida-friendly landscape just like you guys have.
Thank you for flipping our Florida yard.
What an honor to be able to give the De Las Alas family the peaceful sanctuary they deserve. Their new Florida-friendly landscape will not only save water, it'll attract wildlife and be a safe place for their girls to play outside. Well, that's our show. Remember, everybody doing a little, well, that's a whole lot.
Flip My Florida Yard was brought to you by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection in partnership with the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences Florida Friendly Landscaping Program.
Thank you, Chad and the crew of Flip My Florida Yard for coming and flipping our yard.
Thank you.
It is so beautiful. I'm just so happy and proud of our backyard.
We love our backyard!
Bye, Isla.